Hey guys, it's Audra and welcome back to 365 Projects. I am here today with my Reading Rush TBR. As you probably already know, this used to be called the Booktubeathon, but now it's more inclusive to everybody that would like to join in. I always try to make sure that I do this readathon because it was the first one that I ever participated in 2 years ago, which sounds like a lot of people on their TBR share that kind of same story of Booktubeathon being kind of their first step into Booktube, and that was definitely the case for me. I'll put a picture up here. Me and my first video. It was 2 years ago, right after I finished treatment for breast cancer, so I had a hat on to hide my super short and very thinned out hair, very fuzzy, and no eyelashes, but I just enjoy doing this one. It's kind of fun to look back and see how far, I guess, I've gotten in just a celebration of another year of reading and life and all that kind of stuff. So let's move past the mushy stuff and talk about the books. So I did pick out 7 books. I know I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, even though this is like a week of summer vacation for me because school has not started yet, don't have to report yet, but I'll do my best. I did pick 4 books, I think, that are 200 pages or less, so that will be helpful in getting some things done. I have audiobooks picked out for when I have to take my giant dog on a WALK. I can't say it because he's actually sleeping right there. But we do that a couple hours a day, so that's audiobook time. Also, we'll be traveling back home to see my family, which I'm so excited about. But that's a 4-hour drive, so I'm going to have plenty of audiobook listening time, more so than normal, so I'm excited to dig into some of these books. So let's talk about what I have on my TBR. The first challenge is to read a book with purple on the cover. Now, for some reason, a lot of these books have purple on the cover, but I'm going to specifically go with Misadventures with a Professor by Sierra Simone. Last month, I read Misadventures of a Curvy Girl by Sierra Simone off a recommendation of a lot of people here on BookTube, and it's probably the smuttiest book that I've ever read, but it's so short, and I want to read some more of her work because she's actually going to be doing like a book conference or something, the Genre Con here in Kansas City, and so her and Alyssa Cole are going to be there for sure that I know of, and so I would like to meet them. I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together that Sierra Simone is actually from this area. That is why like her books take place here a lot, and so I want to read this. I know it is a smutty romance with a professor involved, but I believe the character is definitely of age, so I know that. But this is not normally my typical kind of book, but I just want to read some more of her work before I meet her in person. So the second challenge is to read a book in the same spot. For this one, it will be interesting. This is What I Leave Behind by Allison McGee, and I recently hauled this. Now, the formatting is what really intrigues me because each page is like a chapter, but there are 100 words perfectly. Now, if you read the synopsis on the inside cover, it doesn't tell you a whole lot, so I always flip to this little page here, and it says, since his father's suicide, Will, 16, has mainly walked, worked at dollar only, and tried to replicate his father's cornbread recipe, but the rape of his childhood friend shakes things up. So obviously, this is going to have a lot of trigger warnings throughout, but it's going to be a quick read. As you can see, my same spot I'm thinking for right now, I might actually try the pool. We'll see how that goes, depending on how hot it is, because we are under excessive heat warning. Also, I don't go during the school day, because although I love my students that live here, it's just kind of nice to have some quiet time. So normally I go down after everybody's left, like I kind of stalk. If it's 8 o'clock at night and nobody's there, like I will go down and I will read. Hopefully we'll do that. If not, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, we'll see. But that's my game plan for now. It could change, maybe to my balcony. The third challenge is to read a book that you meant to read last year. Now, as with everybody else, there's a lot of them. So what I did was I quickly went back to my hauls from last year and just kind of like fast forwarded through the videos to see the books that popped up. And I chose the one that kind of just stuck out to me the most. And for me, that will be A Study in Charlotte. This is a Watson and Holmes retelling with a present day twist with college, I believe. This is a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be. It's about 300 pages. But I think there's now 4 books in this series, and it was first recommended to me by my friend Jamie, and I have another book on my TBR that was recommended and sent to me by her as well. So I am excited to finally get into that series. And then the next one, challenge number 4, is to read a book that is an author's debut novel. I have chosen Dear Martin by Nick Stone. Now, I'm really excited to read this. I wanted to read it since it came out. It is on our state award nominee list for this year for YA, so that's awesome. It's very short. I thought I had heard that it was kind of along the same lines of like The Hate You Give with police brutality and race relations, but there's just some mixed blurbs, I guess, to not understand what it's about. So I'm just going to once again read this quick summary if you have not already heard of this one. It does say police brutality in the subjects. But it says, writing letters to late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., 17-year-old college-bound Justice McAllister struggles to face the reality of race relations today and how they shape him. So that definitely sounds like it's going to be a quick read. I have already checked the length of the audiobook, and I could totally listen to this on the way back home to my parents' house in one sitting, in one car ride. Challenge number 5 is a non-human main character. If you are not new here, you probably know that I don't do a lot of fantasy. I struggle with sci-fi for sure. So this one is a little bit tougher for me to wrap my head around, and I may have stretched it in, it may not be exact, but I'm going to try it anyways. For my Book of the Month project, last week I pulled The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan, and I think this is what I'm going to use for the non-human main character. So you have a young girl whose mother has committed suicide and thinks that she has turned into a bird. And so she goes to search for her mother as this bird. So to me, that bird is going to be the non-human main character. I don't know if anything's ever from that viewpoint at all, but that is a major part of the story in the magical realism. And so I want to give it a try, even though it is a very big book. I definitely want to make this a priority this week, and so I can get that done for my Book of the Month project as well. And for challenge number 6, we have a book that has 5 or more words in the title. There are a lot to choose from, but again, I wanted something with a low page count and one that has really high ratings or has been talked a lot about on BookTube, and I went with The Smell of Other People's Houses by Vonnie Sue Hitchcock. This one could also count for purple on the cover, but from my understanding, I believe it's 1970s Alaska, and you have 4 teenagers and how their lives are intertwined in like a coming-of-age story. And so I'm really hopeful that'll be a quick and easy, good, maybe heart-wrenching read. I don't know. But I think I have the audiobook of this ready to go as well. And then we have challenge number 7. Now, I watched a whole bunch of TBR videos and fast-forwarded to the end just to see what other people are choosing for this one, and I quickly found out that I'm not the only person struggling. This challenge says to read the book and watch the film adaptation. Now, I threw a lot of ideas around. I thought about the fact that the last season of Orange is the New Black comes out on Friday during this readathon, but I have no desire to read the actual biography. I thought about reading Stargirl because I read somewhere that it's being turned into a Netflix show, movie, I don't know. But I couldn't read and watch and do both and that kind of thing. So anyways, the book that I ended up choosing is a book I know I'm not going to be able to finish because it is well over 600 pages, but it is one that I've been wanting to read for a while, and it was actually gifted to me while I was going through chemo, and that is A Prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. So this came from Jamie, and I unfortunately wasn't able to read it because my brain and my eyes were not able to focus, and the text is fairly small, but now is the time, and I'm so super excited because it is the book that Simon Birch is based off of. And I adore Simon Birch, and I'm just want to be able to watch the movie again next week. So I'm also going to hopefully get started on this. I know I'm not going to finish it. I will kind of plan on working on it throughout the month of August as I'm working on some other things, but it's one that I need to get to. And I read through the first page, and it is like word for word of the opening of Simon Birch, so I know it's going to be enjoyable, and I'll get to spend some more time with those characters, and I'm so excited to finally get to this book. So in previous years, part of the challenge was also to read 7 books, and so it's not a requirement for this time around, but I have picked out 7 books. Now, if I start to realize that I'm not getting anywhere close, I will probably throw in a graphic novel or two because I do have some ready to go, which you can see in the vlog when I share that. But this is my game plan for now. This middle part looks very doable to me. It's these two that kind of sandwich them and make it look a little bit more daunting than it probably should be. But this is what we're going to go with, and I plan on doing vlogs as well the week. Please let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are, especially if you've read the full text of A Prayer for Owen Meany. I would love to hear your thoughts. You can definitely find me on the Reading Rush website and add me as a friend. I will leave that information down below. Or you can leave your information in my comment box and I will come and find you. So I will talk to you all later. Bye, guys.